Yo, 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 you're back with the show, and the show is back with you. My name is Andrew, and of course, tonight we're here with my good friend Danny, and we're gonna do something just a little different. This is something that I've been very, very keen to do for a long time now, in that I'm just, golf. I love golf, don't get me wrong. I love playing video games, but I feel like I have more to offer. Um, than that. So here we are. Say hi, Danny.
Hello, how you
Now,
doing?
um, if anybody wants to come and join us in this little chat, whatever we're going to talk about, you're more than welcome to. Uh, Danny, what's your Discord?
I do not have a Discord, but you can find me at
No,
Flamingo.
that's it. We're hooked up on your Discord right now. You know that, right?
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were here.
Now we're streaming on my Twitch, but it's your Discord. You know that, yeah,
I do have a Discord going.
yeah.
Oh, it's probably my phone call. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no worries, mate. It's just my Discord phone call. You can find me at Flamingo Boot. I think that is.
mm,
You know.
I mean,
Yeah, Flamingo Boot, how it's
I
spelled.
mean,
Flamingo
you
Boot
know,
with
lo-
B-O-O-T.
lovely.
And you can
Yeah.
find Drew at cunt.com with a red hat.
Yeah, so prick. Uh,
Anyways,
so yeah, he's flamingo boot. Yeah. Uh, and obviously, me. This is show 412. So, all right. Well, so go ahead, Denny. I think you had something, right? I mean, you think we're big enough here? You think we're good, or should we?
well, I have a few things to talk about,
Okay.
and you know, not necessarily if anyone agrees with me or not. I personally don't care because this is a subject to me that I'm flip flop on.
hmm
I have a gay son. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
Um, and to me, homosexuality is initially I don't have an issue with it, but until it's my son,
hmm
I'm trying to work through that, right? Like I'm really trying to work through that. This is like not some bullshit or some made up story. I'm really trying to work through that. I have a younger son who's a couple years younger, who's already given me a grandkid, and there's another grandkid on the way. It's a boy, right? So I got a little girl, a grandbaby, and I got a little boy on the way. He's a grandbaby.
hmm
I got 4 kids.
hmm
I have plenty of children. It's going to if that was my main concern, I have plenty of children that's going to sort of carry my name,
mm
right?
Right.
Chisholm is not, it's a minor concern. I'll say it's a minor concern. My last name is
That
Chisholm.
your
It's
name.
a minor
Mm,
concern. It's a minor concern,
okay.
right?
All right.
Boys are a major concern,
Mm,
right? It's not that I want to carry on my name. I just want boys, right? Because I feel like we need more boys in this country specifically, right? Because I want to make more children. And yeah, you can have as many girls as you want, but not all of them are the same. And you need boys to impregnate them. All boys are the same. You dig? You understand where I'm coming from, right?
no, I was just laughing at the formality of it, like impregnate. Yeah.
My contention is I
If
do
you
have a
want
gay
to
son. He'll never give me a
inseminate
grandchild.
them, then you have to do this. Yeah,
Well,
no, I got you. I understand.
like I have a gay son. He'll never give me a grandchild. And if my whole purpose in life is to create more humans, you would think that would be what's the name of the Darwinianly wrong. We'll use that word.
Well, for starters, I don't. I mean, me personally, I I mean, I just don't think that your whole thing should be about kids should be wrapped up into grandchildren. I mean, it's like saying his only worth to you is grandchildren.
His grandchildren. Well,
Like
me
he
being an
doesn't have
atheist,
worth.
I
Like he
you
doesn't
see, I
have
don't
worth
have
outside
any
of that.
spiritual connection. I don't have a spiritual connection.
You know what I mean?
What'd you say?
Like you're saying
Sorry, I spoke over
he has no worth outside of that is what like you know.
No, 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 no,
Well,
no.
that's what it
I
is though,
mean,
Dan. I mean, that's what it sounds. I mean,
not necessarily as a human being, but like to me, where's my grandchildren? Yeah, I understand as a human being he can be a rocket scientist. You know what I mean? Or right now he does air traffic
well, no,
control,
I'm
so
not,
he's
and
obviously worth something.
that's not even what I said. I mean, I said his worth to you, not the world, because
Right.
the world is pretty, you know, it accepts it
That's what I'm
more or
struggling with.
less.
What
So.
is his worth to me? Because I'm not necessarily a nihilist, but I do have that feeling that he didn't give me any grandbabies. He's never going to give me any grandbabies. He's never going to continue our lineage. And not necessarily the Chisholm lineage, but humans.
Mhm.
I that was my big it's always been my big hang up on gay folks is that they don't continue our humans. They don't continue humans. They decided with them the buck stops there. They're the last human being that they're
Mhm.
going to make.
Right.
I That's a weird concept to me. Maybe because I'm heterosexual and it is primal instinct is to reproduce.
Hmm.
You don't have kids. Your primal instinct is not to reproduce. Sure, I'm sure you maybe want kids, you know, in the long run if you can. If not, then it's like no big deal. To me, it's a huge fucking deal. But
so
yeah, I'll leave.
so
I'll, I'll,
I watch people have kids around me, and you know, some of my friends when I was growing up. I know Theodore was a good friend of mine growing up, and he consciously decided to have a kid at 17, and then proceeded to have like uh, four. I can't remember if it's four or five. Um, you know, in pretty short order. Um, my sister said she never wanted kids, and she has kids now. Uh, you know, everyone has kids, and I actually am a person who wanted kids, and I actually wanted kids young in my 20s so that I knew I could watch my grandkids grow up, and now I'm getting to an age where that's just incredibly um less likely, less and less likely, you know, all the time. So it's a little bit of an iffy subject for me. I don't
it
know.
is. But put yourself in my shoes. I have 4 kids.
Right.
3 of them are heterosexual
Hmm. Hmm.
because
Yeah.
you know right away. And Lucy's heterosexual. You know what I mean? Even though
Well,
she's 8 years old, you
yeah.
can
I mean,
almost always tell,
right.
right? Yeah, she's almost certainly heterosexual,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but with my other son, he's homosexual, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It bothers me. Like it doesn't, not from some religious perspective, because I'm not religious. Like I'm a super atheist, right? And I'm a super leftist, and I'll tell you all that. But it's like from a Darwinian's perspective, and I guess you can call me a Nazi in that perspective because the Nazis believed in Darwinianism, and if you're not, creating more humans, or it's is that a flaw in me?
I mean, I don't know, man. You know,
I mean, that doesn't make me a Nazi for sure, right?
I okay. So and here's what I would like to say, and I hope people don't take it the wrong way. People throw the word Nazi around way too much these days. Like, use the word fascist. You know, like people say Nazi for everything now, and like,
Hmm.
and what bothers me about this is, it's almost like and like I watch a channel on my TV called American Heroes channel. It's called, right, and all that's ever on there is World War II, and all they ever talk about is
It's the
Hitler.
Nazis,
and and
right?
and and I feel like Hitler is like the new personification of evil for people when Stalin killed more and he killed more of his own people. And like so there's like misinformation there. And then Hitler's horrible, don't get me wrong, but like I'm a little tired of like that being the sole and only personification of evil. Fascism is fascism. There was a lot of it. Hitler wasn't like alone in it. He wasn't like exclusive there. There was other things going on, you know. So
Yeah.
no, do I think that how you feel about your son, it's complicated, bro. And I can't. You're my best friend, and we've known each other for a long time. I don't know what would cause you to disconnect because he can't give you a kid. And I mean, that's not actually even true because he technically could, just not naturally.
Right. Well, not, and he can naturally if they had a surrogate or something like that. You
Well,
know
that's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. Like they could
There's
find someone
no,
to carry.
that's
Right.
not ruled
Yeah,
out.
right. Right.
That's not ruled out. But every time I ask him, when are you going to give me a child? He
Well,
says,
I think
I don't want
now I
kids.
think that's wrong. I mean, you can't pressure him.
Well,
He'll
can I
do it when
not
he's
ask
ready,
as a parent?
in his time. When he's
He's
ready to have kids,
nearly
bro,
30
it's
years old.
are you gonna raise it? I mean, it's gonna be his
Yes.
kid. It's gonna be
Yeah.
his kid, bro.
You
So
know
like,
I will, dude. You know I will take the child on. You know I will. You know I will take the child on. Give me a baby and bring it to me. Because dude, I ask my wife all the time, and she's not. We had kids
Mhm.
late in life with her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Almost
Okay.
40, right? So she was 32 when she had the kid, and now Lucy's 8. She's 40, right?
Right.
She's not interested in having more children. So
Right.
I would absolutely. And every time I say, "Look, I want another baby," she always tells me the same thing. Look, you better go to Florida and pick up that grandbaby of yours if you want to hold a child. Right? You
Right.
know what I mean?
That's right. That's right, Dossie. I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, and so but he feels how he feels about it. He's trying to work through it. I agree. Like he's gonna if he wants a kid, it'll happen in his time, not yours, unfortunately.
I know.
For you, unfortunately, but I mean that's the way it should be, though. I mean, if we're being honest.
Right. See, I'm smart enough to understand that, but I'm selfish enough to want, right?
Right, right, right. Well, it is what it is.
And I shouldn't be selfish because my other son is giving me two grandkids. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. And I know my third son, who's currently pursuing a career right now, but
Hmm.
dude, he wants girls. You know what I mean? He
Right,
wants
right,
kids.
right.
So I know he's going to give me grandbabies. I always get caught up with the one who my oldest, my first.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Doesn't want to give me a grandchild.
I think
And I
there's.
love him to death. I don't care if he does this or that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just, can you not give us some blood?
Give him some time.
Yeah, and I know there's a possibility that he may decide to donate or have in vitro fertilization, or no, it's not even like that. No, I don't know how he feels now because he lives with a guy, but when he was in high school he had a girlfriend the whole time,
Mm,
right? So
mhm,
and every time he ever told me, he's like, "Lo, I'm bisexual,"
right.
but now he's like living with a guy, and he's came out and said, "Look, I'm gay."
So
So I'm like, whatever, that's fine. And I asked him, grandchildren,
right.
where you stand on that? And he's like, I don't want no kids.
So and here's what I'm gonna say on the matter of sexuality that way. Absolutely is born, by the way. I never thought that growing up, but I know that that's a fact now because
Yeah,
well, I actually
that's what I always know.
I did know it growing up, but I'm gonna tell you why. I had a cousin Joey, okay, and we would me and his brother like Johnny, we would play with GI Joes and this that the other thing, and he would play with the girls and the Barbies. So I mean, that was he was always knew what and where that was going. You know.
Is he gay?
Yeah. I What did I say? I mean, I thought
Right.
that was pretty
Well,
implied.
uh,
Yes, he is, and he's a
in
great.
being a father of a gay son, it's almost immediately recognized.
I don't know, his father. I haven't, talked to his
No,
father
but
or
it's
so long
almost
as it,
immediately
but
recognized. Like when you hooked up with him and hung out with him, you recognize that he wasn't like the other boys,
well,
right?
he hung out with with the girls, yeah, and played
Right,
with the
right. And
Barbies.
even when he did hang out with the boys, probably seemed a little
He's a
fragile,
little
right?
different, not actually not fragile, just you know, feminine,
No, because we all know gay dudes can fight
just a
because they've
little,
been
yeah,
fighting their whole
just
life.
just a little feminine. Not, I wouldn't say fragile
Yeah,
by
right,
any
right. He
stretch.
can
No,
hold his own in a fist
he's
fight,
uh he's a
right?
nurse. He's a nurse now. Yeah.
Well, that's who cares about that anymore,
Well, I
right?
mean, you have to, sometimes you carry people around and stuff. I know. Actually, it's odd when right shortly before my dad's mother passed away, she had another heart surgery, and he was the one taking care of her at the hospital. It was kind of kind of a neat thing, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
To have family take care of family. But
Right, right, right. That's what you always want. That's why I live in North Carolina because my mama, dude, I follow my mom everywhere. My mom goes, if my mom was
he
to move
is
to
he's a
California tomorrow,
he
we
is
would
Dusty.
be off to California.
A great nurse and a great person. He's one of the very best human beings that I know. So, um, absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, I think you gotta come to terms with yourself with that. With your with your eldest son. That's gonna be something you got to deal with, bro. And I mean, he'll decide, and if he does, it'll be in his time, and that's that. You know. Hey Bex, what's going on? There's just nothing you can do about that, bro. You got to try to let that go. One thing, and I
I have
thought
let it go.
me and my dad, I'll say like my dad and I, we've talked, right, and we've, the flaws that we had for a long time. One thing he never did was like sometimes I would go to him and be like begging him to tell me what to do. For the love of God, please tell me what to do in the situation. He said, I'm not going to do that. You know. Uh, so and he's right. He was totally right. So you know, let him figure it out, and whatever he decides, he decides. You're not gonna love him less. That's not true. I mean,
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no.
so I mean, you still love him as
Love is not on the table here. You know what I mean? Love is not on the table. Dude, I would go to war for him.
right,
I would die. I would jump in front of a bullet. If I
right.
knew that I had a chance to maybe let me and Serena break up or whatever,
Hmm.
and I met some other young chick who wants to have a baby, and I know I can make more children. Even before then, I knew I can make more children, and I know he was never going to make another child. I would still jump in front of a bullet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's your boy. Yeah,
For him, so he can live his life. Even if he's never going to make another child. So it's not like population thing. It's not like, oh, I just want to continue my sperm. It's not like that. It's just it is a tough hang up. I don't know if it, it is a very, very tough hang up
and yeah,
for me though,
I'll
that
give
he's
you
never gonna give me grandchildren.
I'll give you one better. Are you ready? You
Sure.
need to get over this sooner than later, probably, because if he decides to have kids too, right? You're probably going to worry about how he raises them.
No, 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 no. Because I know the see that's the difference here. Because I know transgender women who have raised kids that have turned out just perfectly
No, I know. Like
normal. You know what I mean?
I know. I made the comment of, like I said, I told you about my cousin. It was always clear that he was gay.
Right, right. Yeah, there is that little thought in the back of your mind is that okay, he has a kid. Is the kid gonna be gay too?
Right. I mean, you'll
Right, right.
probably think that here or there, but I don't know. I
And,
hope.
the funny thing is a lot
I
of people
hope.
think that's just a strictly right-wing issue. If I'm sitting here talking to you, everybody thinks I'm like some MAGA guy. When everybody doesn't even know that I'm more left than Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean? I'm a leftist. I believe in fucking total fucking government control over not necessarily our life, but
No, no,
whether we can make it in life. Like
you're
I
no.
believe in equity of outcome, right? Equal outcome, not just equal opportunity. I think we should all have the same
That's not. I
outcome.
mean, that's that's nonsense. You know it is.
Yeah, I know it is nonsense. I know it's a pipe dream, but holy shit.
Equal outcome. That's not. I mean, what the fuck's he doing? Hi, how's everybody doing today? I don't know what he's up to right now, but yeah. Well, that's what I'm always be honest. You're tired from moving the stuff around. I wonder where he went. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, he'll be back soon. I don't know what he's doing because he seemed like he was excited. I can't imagine why. I did tell him to look for a bottle of bourbon for me down there. I don't know. I mean, I doubt that's what it is. I don't know what's going on with him right now, but he seems pretty excited about something. So we'll see. I got bourbon over there. I'm gonna start drinking some. Becca need a gun? Becca, you don't have a gun? Oh, apartment hunting. I see. No gun required there. Yeah, unless they're squatters. Just kidding. No, no. Um.
So by the way, you and I have been sitting here talking this whole time for like a couple hours,
Mhm.
and I completely lost track of time, and it is Lucy's absolute bedtime, as it is 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Eastern Daylight Saving Time, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm about to kick some butt right now.
Okay. Well, he's I consider that my third niece. I guess I have three nieces. Danny's daughter Lucy, I absolutely consider a niece. And then my sister gave me two nieces as well. So you should see the motel. What motel? The No-Tell Motel.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Why? He's a little drunk too, I think, guys. I think he might have been drinking a bit. It's a lovely sight straight out of The Last of Us. Okay. Uh, I watched the first 5 episodes of The Last of Us. Maybe I think. I don't know. You know what I did watch though? Uh, I watched a new season of You on Netflix. Oh my. You know.
All right.
I
Sorry.
would- Yeah.
I completely let time get away from me.
Nah, no worries. No worries here, man.
All right. So continuing with that theme, and I know it may be an uncomfortable theme, but it's a fairly one is it's one that a lot of
I
people can relate to because everybody knows somebody, right?
I actually have another story about that.
Go ahead.
So like my
What's that?
my dad's sister got married to a man. Um, they were married for a very long time. I, they didn't get divorced till my cousins Matt and Jamie were in maybe high school, and they got divorced, and he started dating men. He was gay. So I have a couple of those uh sometimes, and that's the way sometimes it was back then, guys. Like people forget, like sometimes gay men would get married because he had a good job, and in order to keep that good job you got to keep an appearance that you live a certain kind of lifestyle, you know what I mean, a wife and a kid, and so he did that. Now what else were you gonna say there, Dan?
I'm off that subject.
Okay, let's go. Let's
Same subject, but different
well, you're
context.
off the subject, same subject. Okay.
Same subject, but different context. So there was this Republican, right? This Tennessee, and you know me, I'm gonna always bash on Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Republican. He is the attorney lieutenant governor. He's the lieutenant governor, second in command for the
Mm-hmm.
state of Tennessee.
Okie dokie.
So he just
Oh,
passed.
I heard this. I actually
He
saw
just
this earlier.
passed an or he didn't pass because he's just the lieutenant governor. All he can do is whip votes.
Hmm.
You know, he's not a voter.
Right.
He all he could do is whip votes, right? But he certainly approved of an anti-LGBT vote to ban some, not necessarily ban gay marriage, but make it not like the same. Like you can't have a traditional marriage in Tennessee.
Mm. And what? And then there was one guy. I don't know
And
if you
he
heard that.
was
He had
flirting online.
pictures. Yeah, pictures of a teenage
He
boy,
was
right?
flirting online with
A
a
young
twink.
man. Yeah.
Yes. He
Yeah.
was flirting online with a young man.
It's crazy.
And
Yeah.
he well, I get it. I get it. So he's what is his what do you I mean, what do you think there? Like, are you like, okay, so I don't mind messing around with some young men, but no, you can never get married. That's out of the question.
What if you had a gay son and a trans kid? Can you fucking imagine?
Um, that would be like one and the
I
same,
mean,
right? I do have a gay son.
so he does have a gay son. We no trans yet.
No, no,
But
not even remote. My son's 6'3", like
I have
250 pounds. Like, brr,
I have a I do
he's
have
a
a
bear.
I do have a problem with some of the people today who are telling their children what they are. You know, if they're 3 years old, you know, they're just like
Yeah,
they're right, and
you don't need
the
to be
parents are telling
pushing
them
your
you're
kids.
you're not a boy, you're a girl, you know,
You
and
don't
that's
need to
exactly
lead
what
them.
that is if they're 3 years old. Come on, you know.
Yeah, they're leading the horse to water.
No, that's insanity, and that's wrong.
Yeah, you're starting to implement. You're you know, because the kids are impressionable, right? Now I'm not saying every kid that shows up in kindergarten, you tell them, look, you don't know what the fuck you are. Not every kid's gonna turn on and be like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Not every kid's gonna be like, oh, I'm a pink unicorn. Most kids are gonna be like, you don't know the fuck you're talking about, dude. I'm a boy, Damon. You know what I mean? Like fucking
mm.
what was what was it? Fucking I never mind. It was an obscure fucking movie, House Party 3 or some shit. I'm a boy, Damon. But
Mm.
yeah, most kids are gonna be like, I'm a boy. What the fuck are you talking about? No, I like cooch.
Hmm.
What do you think? You think even if a woman pushes, even if a family pushes a child to be not necessarily transsexual, but asexual. Let's say, let's say that a family pushes the child's not going to grow up and be like, cooch is where I want to be.
Mm,
What do you
Just
think? Like, if your family pushed you towards asexualism, like, would you not grow up and still be like, yeah, cooch? I
I
prefer
mean,
cooch.
that's impossible for me. My father was way too charismatic, and I became way too charismatic for that. So it was never gonna happen.
What do you think though? If a family pushes a child to be asexual,
I think if a parent pushes a child to be anything, I think that that's not healthy.
right.
And
But
I'm
my question isn't necessarily that. My question is, if a child is forced under parental supervision, because we're not going to say duress, because if the kid grows up and said, look, mom, I like girls, she's not going to start slapping them around or anything. Maybe in a few situations, you know what I mean? But mostly, if the, you know, growing a kid up, if you tell, like Lucy, like if I was to tell Lucy, look, if Lucy, she smiles at boys, I'm like, why are you smiling at boys for? You can smile at girls too.
Mhm.
It may plant a little seed in her head, but at the same time, they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Penis is what I'm looking for. I
Okay.
think it's a mental thing. I think it's people already know from the that's why there's so very few, right? That's why among 8 billion people, it's like 1% that's gay, right? Maybe
Okay.
two if you're lucky that are bisexual.
I mean, I don't know the statistics on that, so I really do not. Um,
I guess two, by the way.
you you guess
But
what?
like the percentage, like how many gay people do you really know? And like if you use like the Dunbar or whatever situation where you're like, okay, I know 150 people.
Hmm.
Not necessarily know them, but I can recognize them. I recognize 150 people.
Right.
Like maybe 80 people I can remember their names.
Okay.
50 people I've been over periods of conversation with them, right?
Mhm.
10 people maybe that I know where they live or something, or we're neighbors, or 3 people we talk every day. You know what I mean? Like out of the 150 people, how many people do you know that are gay? Like I would say two. I know two.
Yeah,
My son
maybe yeah,
and the person I work with.
maybe two or three. Yeah, three.
Yeah,
Uh,
2 or 3. So it's not a very big, you know what I mean?
I don't.
Like
I mean, it's listen.
percentage.
It's never bothered me. So
Well, it's not. I wasn't making a point whether it bothers you or not. Like, how many people do you know, right?
yeah,
That are are absolutely gay out of 150 people
yeah.
that maybe you recognize.
I would say. Well, that you recognize. I mean, that's a lot more than because you know that there's celebrities that are but that's a lot
Yeah, but
more.
that can get into the 200-300 count. I'm talking about people that you recognize that are not celebrities.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll have to scratch them out because
put it
if you're
to you,
talking about
put it
celebrities,
to you
shit,
like, put it to you
I
like
know 300
this.
celebrities.
Put it to you like this. I mean, for I'd say for almost every average American, it's less than 10.
Less than 10.
Right. I mean, you know what I mean? For me, I think it's probably three. I think, but
3. And I know 2. I know 2. I know the person I work with. I want to say I met someone a long time ago, but I can't count him because I don't really know him.
and guys,
I
if you
was a
haven't yet,
kid and my parents knew him.
don't
He
forget
had
to
HIV and he was a homosexual, and it was just like a meet. He was like a cousin of my dad's ex-wife or some shit. I don't
And guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to follow. It doesn't cost anything to follow. So yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say on that topic. I mean, like, I'll say one more thing. I'm so comfortable with that. Just to be clear, I know like, I dated that, the dancer, as you know, and she had a friend that was, and his birthday party he had in Trenton. It was a little bar, and he went into the bathroom. And he came out, uh, and he was dressed up. He what do they call that? Um, yeah, cross dressing. I don't know. Whatever. Uh,
Drag.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's having a good time, and three of us took a picture together, and I told him he could put his leg up and, like on my arm, like, you know what I mean? I was in the middle. I don't care. Like, gay does not bother me.
Never got
It's very
that from you neither.
comfortable around it. It's just,
Yeah, I never got that from you neither. By the way, that gay folks
yeah, no one, I mean, no
sort
one
of
really does.
turned
I
you
mean,
off to where you couldn't interact with
yeah,
them.
the only
Never got
people, yeah, the only people that bother me are like, ignorant people. Like people that, they come into like a room and they start shit with everybody and they act superior and all that nonsense. Like that's and especially if they're not too. Like if you act like you're the smartest person in the room and you're a dumb fuck, that's the
that.
that's gonna bother me and I'm gonna probably dismantle you. Uh, right. So yeah, now people don't, types of people don't bother me. Individuals can for sure. You know, so that's that.
So
Yeah.
back to the topic at hand, we have this conservative fella who wants to ban gay marriage, but yet he's flirting with gay men online.
Right.
So I mean that seems like the moral question. Is it okay to say yes, you can have gay friends? Yes, you can maybe even participate in gay activities, but when it comes to marriage, should we should we draw the line?
If two people want to share a life, I think they should be able to. That's
It's an
my
easy question. Remember, I told you there was some stuff that we're going to agree on.
right. I mean, I think, I mean,
Started.
and by the way, because I said, it says I'm the answer down there, so I'm also gonna provide alternative um solution, if you will. I think, and it's a little bit uh draconian. It's a little bit authoritarian. It's a little bit over the line. But if you really wanted to be so crazy about it, you don't have to stop them from getting married, or like whatever. If it's that serious to you, and you want them to say like maybe you can contract out where they agree to breed or something. They really have give a whatever for what I mean, or whatever it is. But I think that's silly. I just think if two people want to be together, let them be together. That's my bottom line opinion.
That's a very good answer. And then for some context, I am a proud leftist, atheist.
Good night.
Drew,
Good night.
you are.
Hmm,
I'm a proud leftist atheist.
right.
I'm a socialist and an atheist. For context, Drew, what would you say you identify yourself as?
I don't really. I mean,
There's got to be some sort of political ideology that you agree with.
deeply fucking center,
Libertarian, maybe.
very center, maybe maybe a little right of center. I don't know.
A little right of center. Like
Maybe.
I would consider you a libertarian, right? Where you agree with some sort of social platforms to help people, but you also deeply believe in
I
freedom.
I pretty much decide in my head, and and I don't really want to. It's like if you say it, it's kind of like you're not. But so I won't. But that one thing that we talk about archetypes. We've talked about that before. I march to the beat of my own drum. I decide what I feel is like right and wrong. No one's gonna tell me what that is. And
Sigma.
well, whatever. You said it, not me.
Typical Sigma.
Well, you said it, not me. So so that's me. I mean, that's and you've seen it, right? I mean, I will just like I said, people don't, like if you be gay, African American, whatever it is, no, people don't bother me as a people. Individuals can, and but that's that. I decide for me like what is right and what's wrong, and that's it. I don't care about the politics of it.
But ultimately, it turns out to be political though.
Well, it could because they make it political, yes. So it has to be, right? But I'm saying in a very general way. I just decide what
Right.
I believe in, and I don't let it sway me. I agree with some things on left, and I agree with some things on the right. I am pretty firmly centered, but all the things that I am, nobody tells me. All things that I like or agree with, nobody tells me. I just am. That's me. I made that decision. And I also, by the way, and as you know, if I did make the decision and it was an important one, I also educated myself on it beforehand.
All right.
So
All right. So that being said, we can both agree that whether you're gay, straight, or bi, you should be left the fuck alone.
yeah,
All right.
I
So moving on.
go ahead.
What are your thoughts on the banking situation?
Yeah, you know how I feel about this.
Come on, tell us. Let us know what you feel.
I mean,
What do you
I
think?
feel like the administration back in 2008 uh, really failed this country in a way that's just unforgivable. Um, in a capitalist, and I know I don't get. I listen. I know that we're capitalist and democratic. I get it, right? It's the and it's the great experiment, and I get it. But if you're gonna lean on capitalism, there's no such thing as too big to fail. That's that's literally the polar opposite of the point. Like, right? Like, you know, the idea is if you fuck up like that, that the ones underneath they come up and they eat you and you're fucking done and they've learned the lesson because you've made the mistake and it moves things forward just like evolution. And as it was when they did that and they printed 18 trillion fucking dollars to do it, you know, all these CEOs and CFOs of this banks who left, either forced, quit, or fired, uh, they all gave themselves really nice little golden parachutes to land softly with that money too. So you know how I feel about it. That's never gonna change. So it is what it is. No such thing. And
So,
I think by the way
go
with
ahead.
things like that in particular, by the way, I'm sorry. We kind of talked at the same time. I didn't mean to. I don't like cutting people
Ed,
off.
you're not finished.
Um, with things like that, banking, anything that's like really important too. That's the key there. Anything that's really important to the society, I think it's all the more important that you let nature take its fucking course.
So, what do you think about legislation against, like, say, so SVV, the Silicon Valley Bank
Yeah,
that
I know this
just
is me.
collapsed. So, what they did was they took a bond and sold it. Now they bought this bond for pennies on the dollar,
Mhm.
right? And they sold it for a negative margin, right? So let's say they bought this bond for $21 million,
Mhm.
21 billion, excuse me. $21 billion, and they sold it for $18 billion.
Right.
That's nearly a
Wait,
$2 billion.
you're gonna have to hold on because something's bothering me real quick. So hold that thought. Who's still here? Becca, are you still here? And if anybody is still here, tell me if you think we should leave ourselves on the top, or if we should we leave ourselves there on the top, or should we put ourselves in the middle of the TV where that's flashing, or do you think it looks good, or should we touch it? Should we mess with it? Because I could fix it. We could make ourselves bigger and more centered, or give me your thoughts. And while she thinks about that, Danny, go ahead.
All right. So what I was saying is that
Okay, yeah.
should we allow these banks to operate? So for instance, SVB
Hmm.
sold a $21 million bond that they bought. They bought a $21 million bond. It cost them $21 billion. I'm sorry, and they sold it for $18 billion. So they lost $2 billion,
Hmm.
right? So when that happened, there are some economists, economists, economists.
Economists. There you go. Yeah.
There are some economists. That's what I've been drinking. So there's some economists that said, remove your money from that bank right now. It's about to collapse.
Is that a little better, Bex? Right. Go ahead. I'm trying to follow.
So yeah. So what causes banks, at least these banks today, what causes them to collapse? Same thing like back in the 20s when there was the Great Recession, right? What caused these banks to collapse is everybody panics and runs to the bank and withdraws their cash. Obviously, the bank doesn't have enough to suit everybody. So when they don't suit everybody, they have to
Hmm.
borrow more money from another entity in order to pay people. And when that money runs out, when the entity that says, "Look, I'm not going to give you any more money,"
Hmm.
right? So now the bank is stuck with 5 billion, and everybody's withdrawing their money 2 million at a time, 3 million, 4 million, especially these tech. This is what this was all about, the tech industry, basically.
Yeah, I
So
gotta be
all the
honest.
tech industries started withdrawing their money left and right, and it basically broke the bank.
Hmm.
So now the bank doesn't have enough money to pay out, right?
Hmm.
So they borrow money from another entity, and now
No,
the next entity says, you can't borrow any more money, and you still don't have enough money to pay out everybody, right?
no. They should.
That's what causes the bank to collapse.
No,
When
the other.
people
So
panic,
then, where
they
that
start
happened is
withdrawing every dime.
where that went wrong was the other entity should never get a loan and should take that apart piece by piece and sell it and get their money back. That's that.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, what caused this bank to go and seek loans to cover its, what it don't have in equity, what it doesn't have in liquidity, right? So some guy draws $2 billion out of the bank. You only got
Hmm.
$1 billion in the bank. You can't give that guy the money that he's withdrawn, right? Like, what do you do then? You have to go
In
and
no
borrow that money,
in bills? No, of course not. There's no, yeah.
right? But that's what happens. That's what seems to happen a lot. These people go out and they want their liquidity, right? And you can't give them that because you don't have it. You don't have it in liquid. All you have is credit. All you have is digital funds. And I think
So
that's where this seems to be falling apart.
so billionaires, right? So I can I are you good? Can I, yeah or no? You want to go or Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and Danny and I had this we've had this conversation the other day actually, and I told him, and he knows, but I kind of reaffirmed the way that sort of works. Like billionaires hide their money in the market when they take their companies public, even before that, but especially when they take their companies public, their money is mostly tied up in stocks, and it's a perceived worth, and they can get anything based on the perceived worth, you know. Um, and that's also how they sort of hide their money from taxes as well. So we talked about this just what 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a it is what it is. I personally miss the gold standard. I miss, like, it's like Bitcoin. You have a certain amount, it's worth. You know what I mean? That's that. I mean, I get it. You always need room for growth, so I understand, the market and things, but people complain about the rich getting richer. They just don't really lose their money. I mean, that's, and they also pass it on to their children. The very same way they pass the stocks on the company on. So
The thing of it is, though, there was no billionaires at this bank. It was a startup bank,
which is,
right?
I
For
mean,
startup companies.
by the way, that seems like
And there were millionaires.
it seems like an odd. That's almost and that's a very odd comment. It's like ironic almost, really. A start. No, really, like,
Well, it was
because
a smaller
you think of
bank,
startup
right?
companies as tech, like a startup bank. Banks have been around for right. It's yeah.
No, but this isn't like for instance, the bank that my company shops at, there's no billionaires there. It's a new bank.
Mm,
It's only been around maybe 5 years. There's no billionaires
mhm,
that deal with this bank.
mhm.
There may be the bank itself or the some of the shareholders may be billionaires, but essentially nobody who banks there are billionaires, right? We're all millionaires, right? My company's a millionaire,
No, well,
right? So they're
because
going to now if my company decided to withdraw all its funds from that bank, that would cause
mm,
some issue with the bank. You know what I mean?
I mean, right, billionaires, as I just said before, they don't do much with banks anyway. So,
Well, they own the bank, right? They're
well,
basically king of the
you
bank,
know, they are banks,
right?
essentially. But right. So, and you can, I mean, I don't know what it is now, but I think it's still the same. Like, you can only insure up to $250,000.
$250,000 at
Yeah, right.
specific banks. Maybe some a little less, maybe some a little more.
So you're a billionaire.
But most
You'd have
insurances
to
doesn't.
you have to put that money in what,
Something else.
100 different banks. I mean, it's like,
No, overseas,
so that doesn't work, and they just don't do
offshore
banks.
banks.
That's why they have all the diversification that they have, and there's all guys. Listen, guys and girls out there, and or whatever chosen pronoun, uh, listen to me. There is all kinds of ways that rich people hold on to money. Art. I mean, there you have no because you just have no clue. You know the number of different things they have to get around taxes and all kinds of things. Really, the biggest one for me that people don't really realize is what you call a non-profit company. Those non-profits are not really non-profits. They're like a license to print money and be tax totally free because all they do is collect money, you know, and because it's charity, it's not taxed. So that's why all
Right.
these really rich people all have foundations that are nonprofit. I mean, I could probably go on. You know, There's all sorts of ways, guys. Does that? I mean, does that? Yeah, does that answer your question? Satisfactory.
Yeah, you're fine with me.
Um, yeah. So, what do you think?
We
What
all know
else?
the rich are rich and the poor are poor, and it won't change for a long time. There may be a few crabs that escape the pot. You know
You
what I
know,
mean? And when they
well,
do, because they came up with an ideal, right?
I was I was in a Discord server earlier. I was talking to some people, um, and I let them know I'm not giving up on doing this, right? But at the same time, I also realized that you could work your butt off. You could work harder than anyone, you know, and get absolutely nowhere. The truth is real true success often comes with a little bit of a luck, a break here, a break there, and you find yourself in that position. It's hard work, but that alone will not get you there. Almost never. So you got to do that hard work to put yourself in a position to have a good break and recognize it when it comes. Yeah, right back there, spinning around your chair,
I'm getting ready to pass out.
ready to
It's
pass
getting
out
that
on.
time. Yeah, it's getting about that time.
So let's see. I mean, well, I guess we'll get into some other stuff, you know, unless somebody else wants to come on. Uh, if you have to go to bed,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
getting out of here soon.
then I guess we'll address some other things soon.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more. We'll definitely talk more. We'll get into more of this just to
The,
chill and hang out.
there are definitely things that I know are on my agenda, guys. I mean, guys, like I said, guys, gals, boys and squirrels, lords and ladies. I uh, I really want to talk about. I don't know if you discussed this, the homeless problem in this country, and not just the homeless problem, but what I really want to talk about is how different it is from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's not really that big a problem in the East, and it's massive in the West. And I'd like to see if we can't figure out why exactly that is. What's different, you know? Um, in case y'all didn't know, here's just a little check, like a little knock on the poker table. We just parked the USS Nimitz in the South China Sea because China's foaming at the mouth over Taiwan. Um, so that's pretty aggressive. We haven't done that. We sold 400-mile anti-ship missiles to Australia, and we've had British fleets floating around there for a while, but the Nimitz is there now, and that's a serious cease and desist now message. So keep your eye on that, and that's all I'll say about that for the moment. We should get in. We should get a little bit into the Ukraine thing and Putin tomorrow.
We can definitely do that. Definitely do that. Because I have some strong words against Putin.
Right. I mean,
And
and
I know you don't care for him neither.
right. Well, yeah. I mean, we, most people don't see. Well, I love the military guys. Yeah, that's my happy place. I guess. Right. I mean, I didn't get to do it, and it was my fault. And I don't really sit around and wallow or regret, but you know, um, I think that was probably what I was supposed to do. But we'll talk about that. We'll probably get to all that.
Yeah.
So
The more we do this, the more we'll get into.
you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm out of here.
All right. So to all my guys and gals, boys and squirrels, lords and ladies, to each and every single one of my non binary, gender fluid snowflakes out there. This is the show most definitely showing you love, but also certainly signing out. Good night.